Hello, my name is Usman Ali Wahidi and welcome to my project presentation video. I will start off this video by demonstrating my program to you. So when you launch the program, you will be greeted with a welcome message and you will be given instructions on how to play the game. Once you have gone through the instructions, you will be asked if you want to start guessing and you will have to enter yes to start playing. Suppose I enter something other than yes, such as any other word like no or nope. You can see the data validation technique as the program will keep on asking you whether you're ready until you finally say yes. So now let's say yes. So on your screen, you can see that these are the randomly generated fruits, and these are only here for demonstration purposes, and this list would not be displayed to the user in the actual game. So let's say I guess something that isn't a fruit, like no, or I guess a fruit that is not in the list of possible colors, so like guava. And you can see it says invalid data not found in list of possible fruits. So you can see the error handling and data validation technique coming into play as the guess is not being registered and the user is being asked for a valid guess. So let's say that I guess kiwi, apple, and then kiwi and strawberry. And you can see I get two fruits correctly in the right place and two fruits correctly but in the wrong place. So these correct and right place are this kiwi and apple. As you can see, they're matching. And the strawberry and kiwi, their positions are interchanged. So there are two fruits correctly but in the wrong place. So now let's guess like mango, apple, kiwi, and then kiwi again. And you can see I get two fruits correctly and in the right place, one fruit correctly but in the wrong place. And if you compare, then this is obviously right. So now finally, let's just guess all of them correctly. You can see kiwi, apple, strawberry, and then finally kiwi again. And you can see the game says, well done, you are the mastermind. You took 3 attempts to become the mastermind, and then which means you've won the game. You've guessed all the fruits correctly in the right place. And it asks you if you want to play again, then enter yes, enter anything else if not. So now let's just say N, and it says, thank you for playing mastermind. You can now close the program. And now I will be talking about the Python programming techniques that I have implemented in my program. I will start off with input and display data. And for this in Python, there are two functions, namely the input and the print function. The print function is used to display some message to the user. And as you can see from the code and running of program, I have used this to display the instructions for playing the game to the user in my program. The input function is used to get input from a user. And this is very important in decision making, as in my program, you can see that the game will only commence when the user enters yes. Moving on to lists. Lists can be used to store multiple items in one variable and they are mutable, meaning they can be altered even after their creation. The most important list from our program is the possible fruits list, which I've used to store all fruits from which a random list of 4 fruits can be generated by the computer. I have also used the mutability of lists by using empty lists such as player_guess, which will be appended later on in the code once the user starts making guesses. And since items in a list have a defined order, this enables my program to compare the user guesses to lists of randomly generated fruits accurately. Next is random choice from a list. The Python standard library provides a built-in module called the random module. The choices method is used to select elements randomly from a given list. And here you can see, to be able to use the random module, you have to import the random library first. And then I have used the random.choices method to generate 4 fruits at random from the list of possible fruits. And here is an example of a 4 random fruit list being returned by the choices method. If statement and relational and logical operators. The if, elif, else statement is crucial in Python for decision making. Very often you will see relational and or logical operators being used with if statements. Here's an example of both types of operators being paired up in my code with an if statement, and the statements after the if statement will only execute if both condition 1 and condition 2 are true. Here, in this piece of code, the relational operator used will compare the value of variable right position to the number 4, and the statements after will only get executed if they are the same value. And this is a very significant decision-making block of code, because if the user has guessed all fruits correctly, right position will be equivalent to 4, and the game will end as all fruits have been guessed correctly. If the if statement is not true, the else statement will be executed, and the user will continue guessing. There are 2 types of loops in Python, those being the for loop and the while loop. Here is an example of a while loop where the block of code under the while loop will repeat as long as y is less than or equal to 4. The loop has a count incrementer that allows it to repeat 4 times, given that the guess by user is valid, and this makes it possible for the user to have 4 valid guesses. Here is a for loop used in my code, and here we repeat the block of code 4 times. And we are also using list indexing in the code block with x. So this allows us to compare the first fruit generated by user to the first one generated by computer, and second to second, and so on till the fourth fruit. And this allows us to determine the number of foods guessed correctly by user with precision. Functions are subprograms that perform specific tasks created by programmers to make programs easier for reading and debugging. I too have created subprograms that perform specific tasks, like the instruction function, which instructs the user on how the game works. Another one is the game function, which defines the whole body of the code for the game. These being separate subprograms have made the debugging progress way easier for me. Functions are also reusable and can be called by name when needed, and they make programs smaller by eliminating repetitive code. I have used the game function in two more ways here. One being when the user enters anything else other than yes when they are asked if they are ready, the game function is called to keep asking them whether they're ready. And I've also called the game function when the user says yes, they want to play again after a round. And this means instead of typing the whole code again for the game, I've just called the function, allowing me to make the program smaller and also save time. And that concludes my presentation.